In this video here, I'm gonna share with you 20 fast ways that you can improve your clothing brand overnight. How do I know this and why should you trust me? Well, I've been running my own clothing brand for the past 8 years. I've done over $1 million in sales and I've worked with thousands of other brands online. And so I've basically taken the 20 things that I've noticed with brands that they could just improve right away, and I've put it all into one video for you. So I really hope you enjoy. Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at BrandCrowd. BrandCrowd's a logo maker tool. You type in the name of the logo that you want, smack that enter button, thousands of logos will come up. You choose the logo that you like, then you can edit and refine that logo as long as you want for free until it's perfect. This is a hundo P design I made for my own clothing brand using BrandCrowd. If you're interested, head over to brandcrowd.com/apparel success and you can get up to 66% off at checkout. All right, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna bang, bang, bang the drum. Bang, 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 bang the drum. And we're just gonna go through each of these one by one. They're in no particular order, so get out your notepad because these are seriously gonna help you improve your clothing brand right away. All right, the first of 20 ways that you can improve your clothing brand immediately is instead of going out and taking pictures and videos of individuals wearing your clothing brand, go out and take pictures and videos of groups of people wearing your brand. What this will do for you is it will increase the social proof of your brand and make your brand look more credible. This is something that I noticed on Instagram with my clothing brand way back in the day, was every time I'd post pictures of groups of people wearing our clothing, it tended to perform better than if it was just one person. So if you don't really have any momentum with your brand yet and you don't have customers, this will be absolutely huge for you. Instead of going out alone or with one friend, go out with multiple friends and take pictures of them together, take videos of them together, use that on your website, use that on your social media, and it will immediately improve your brand. The second way that you can improve your clothing brand right now is to take one day and just beef up all of the product descriptions on your website. Most clothing brand owners get kind of lazy with the product descriptions on their website, and if you actually take the time to write a sexy little paragraph for each product that you're selling on your website, it will massively improve the customer's buying experience as they're shopping through your site, rather than just seeing a picture of your clothing with no description of it and they just don't have as much to sink their teeth into. The third way that you can improve your brand right now is by improving the cart design on your clothing brand's website, the actual shopping cart. I use this app on Shopify called Monster Upsells, and basically it allows you to create this scarcity at the top of your cart where as people are adding products, there's like this little loading bar to get to the free shipping or to get to any sort of milestone that will entice your customers to add more to their cart. And it also just improves the whole aesthetic of your shopping cart itself. So I highly recommend using an app like this, Monster Upsells, or anything similar to it that will just drastically improve the shopper's experience inside of your cart on your website. The fourth way to improve your clothing brand right now is instead of posting whatever you've been posting on social media for your brand, think about these 3 categories every time you're creating content: relatable, educational, or controversial. If you create content for your clothing brand that's either super relatable, is educational, or controversial, those are the 3 types of categories that usually lead to viral content. And I think that too many clothing brands spin their wheels posting stuff that nobody's really finding value in. And just a little disclaimer here, you don't have to post controversial content. It's just that's one of the types of content that you could post if you do want to get out there and get viral right away. The 5th way that you can improve your clothing brand right away is to add little customizations to the clothing that you're making. It's not always about marketing, it's also about the customer's experience, and adding things like custom tags on your clothing or like little hem tags will really improve the customer's experience and just their ability to enjoy your products. And this leads perfectly into the 6th way that you can improve your clothing brand right away, which is using custom packaging. There are websites like stickermule.com, who I'm not being paid to promote, I just use them for my own clothing brand, where you can print your logo onto poly mailers, onto boxes, onto tape, like you can see right there. That's leftover tape that I've used for packaging for my own clothing brand. And it just makes your clothing brand look way more legit. Obviously, you don't have to do this if you can't work it into your budget, but if you have the budget for it, and if you can work it into your profit margin, then I say go for it. The 7th thing that you can do to improve your clothing brand right away, and this is such a common problem that's so fixable and is so important, is simplifying your website. A lot of clothing brands are the creative types and they like to do something on their website that's like never been done before. But the issue with this is that if you use something like a black background and you can't really read the fonts on it, or your pictures are off, or something looks really weird on your site and it's not easy to navigate, then people are just gonna bounce from your website. So start with an easy to navigate website. Make it super simple, your layout, and then you can add little creative things on top of it, but only if it doesn't jeopardize the whole shopping experience on your website. The most important thing on your site is that it's easy to shop, it's easy to add to cart, it's easy to check out. So simplify your website. The 8th thing that you can do to improve your brand right away is to improve the main logo that you're using for your brand. This is something that I did at around year 2 for my brand. I was using this old emblem logo that we started with, and I realized that that wasn't the logo that I wanted to take my brand with into the future. And so I completely reworked it, revamped it, and the new logo that we ended up coming out with, that we use in our social media, that we use basically everywhere on our tags and things, is just so much better. And that's something that you can do right now to improve your brand if you're just not fully confident in your main logo for your brand. The 9th way that you can improve your clothing brand right now is to improve your bio on your social media profiles. A lot of social media profiles don't have a very clear brand statement. They don't have a very cool personality worked into their bio on, say, Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. And actually taking the time to write that is going to be really important for people to be able to make sense of your brand. And also just it's an opportunity to express a little bit of your brand's personality. Like on our Instagram account, we have just give or bud, and then it points down to our shop. And it's like using our brand's language and the language that our customers use inside of our bio. And it's these little details that just add to your whole brand's personality and the whole experience of your brand. After this one, we're halfway. The 10th way to improve your clothing brand is to write better taglines for your brand. A lot of clothing brands write these taglines that make absolutely no sense, and you can't get any grip on what the clothing brand concept is all about. So spend some time actually writing a really sexy tagline for your brand that makes sense, that conveys your brand concept really clearly, really concisely, and really simply. And that's something that you could literally sit back and do right now and just improve your brand drastically. So that marks the halfway point. And before we get into the next 10 ways to improve your clothing brand, I want to let you know that if you haven't signed up for the Apparel Success Mastermind and you're running your own clothing brand right now, you've got to check it out. We do exclusive live streams every month. You get access to all my courses, you get direct access to me, you get access to all the other clothing brand owners inside of the mastermind going through it. You can learn more at apparelsuccessmastermind.com if you want to open up another tab and check it out. The 11th way that you can improve your clothing brand is to use a real domain name. A lot of clothing brands use weird domain names like .store or something weird that kind of kills the credibility of your brand. And I highly recommend just using like a .com or a .ca or whatever it is that your country has for your domain names. And if your clothing brand's name is already taken in a domain, you can just add a word to it so that you can actually get a professional domain name. Like, for example, I know there's this clothing brand called Dope. It's like a snowboarding brand, and I think dope.com was already probably taken, so they just added Dope Snow because it's like a snowboarding company. And so you can do things like that to just get the domain name that you're looking for and still keep it professional. The 12th way that you can improve your clothing brand is to use higher quality blanks. A lot of clothing brands want to go the absolute lowest price per unit on all of the clothing that they're making, and they sacrifice the quality of the clothing. And when their customer gets it, they're never going to want to buy it again, or they're never going to tell their friends about it because they just weren't happy with their buying experience. For my clothing brand, really quickly, we use Just Like Hero 2020 hoodies. Just absolutely love the quality of them for the price. And we use All Style 1301 tees because they just tend to be pretty good quality for the price that you're getting, and our customers are happy with them. The 13th way that you can improve your clothing brand right now is to write a better story for your brand that subtly improves the credibility of your brand and your social proof. The way that we did this for our clothing brand is inside of our story that we've written on our story page on our website, we include things like how different celebrities wore our clothing brand, or how we ended up finally making sales. We gained a lot of followers on social media. We sold to over 600 different cities and towns. And obviously, if you haven't unlocked any of these achievements inside of your own brand yet, you don't have to make anything up or include them, but anything that you can do to improve the perception of your brand while writing your story in an authentic way will drastically improve your brand. The 14th way that you can improve your brand, and this is so applicable to most clothing brands that are just starting up, is make your brand messaging clearer and less confusing. When people come to your website, what you have at the very top of your site is going to convey a concept. What is your brand all about? Who exactly is it for? Make that very easy to understand the second people come to your website. If people are coming to your website and they really can't get a grip on what your brand's about, and all of your messaging and all of your pictures are kind of generic or ambiguous and they can't understand exactly what your brand's about, they're not going to want to support you. It's the brands that have that tight identity where it's very clear who this brand is, who they're for, and what they're selling that really start to crush. The 15th way that you can improve your clothing brand right now is adjusting your pricing either up or down. And there are very few things that you can work on inside of your clothing brand that will simultaneously affect you on the back end and your customer's experience on the front end. But a lot of clothing brands don't really know their profit margins. They don't know if they're making enough money at their exact price point. And all that they've done is they've looked to their competition to assess how much they need to charge for their clothing. But you can improve the health of your clothing brand right away if your profit margins are too small by simply just raising the price. A lot of people have a lot of resistance to doing this because they worry that, well, if they raise the price, not as many people will buy. But actually there's this funny psychological phenomenon that happens when you raise the price of something, which actually tends to increase the value and the perceived value of that product simultaneously. So just a quick example, I recently raised the price of the hoodies for my brand from $70 to over $80. And I did that because I noticed that the profit margin for my brand this year really shrunk due to shipping costs going up and just different things changing the pricing for my brand. And I had to increase the pricing for my clothing. And at the same time, I think that my clothing was actually being sold a little bit too low cost at $70, since we do spend a lot of time actually working on the prints, making sure that the clothing's really good. And so you can totally do that to immediately improve the health of your brand. The 16th way that you can improve your clothing brand right now is to improve your email marketing for your brand. And I know that a lot of brands that first start up kind of tend to neglect the email marketing of their brand because maybe they feel like they don't have a huge email list. But we use something known as Klaviyo, K-L-A-V-I-Y-O, and we spend a lot of time actually adding images to the emails that we're designing and making sure that all the products that we include in the emails that we send out are actually in stock and they're aligned with the actual collections that we're selling and the season that we're in right now. And at the same time, even if you have a small email list, you should still be sending out emails to your email list to nurture your list and to get those returning customers. The 17th way that you can improve your clothing brand right now is to take more professional photography, especially for your website. A lot of clothing brand reviews that I've done, one of the big issues that I see is that at the top of their website, there are kind of these unprofessional pictures that are just like really casual pictures that they use on their website. And the picture that you use on your website should be like really high quality. They should be really well taken. So if you feel like that's your brand, get a bunch of your friends together, go out and take much more professional quality pictures for your website, specifically for the very top of your website, because that's what people are going to be seeing first, and it's going to create that first impression, and you want that first impression to be really professional. The 18th way to improve your clothing brand right now is to improve the product mockups on your website. When your shoppers are shopping on your site, all that they have to go off of for the quality of the clothing that you're selling, what they're gonna get in the mail, is how your product mockups look. And too many clothing brands neglect this and they just don't put enough effort in. All of your products should look really consistent on your site. They should all have the same look, the same shape, and be taken in the same way so that your brand just comes across as really clean and that they're gonna get something of quality in the mail when they buy. We're almost at the end here. The 19th way that you can improve your brand right now is to include surprise gifts and promo items inside of the packages that you're sending to your customers. We send out free stickers with every single order. We send out coasters. We send out keychains. These little accessories that you buy as promo items to include that your customers aren't expecting goes such a long way. Imagine you get a hoodie in the mail and then there's some stickers that come along with it. How cool is that compared to literally just receiving the hoodie that you ordered? It just adds such a better experience. And the 20th way to improve your clothing brand right now is to increase the volume of posts that you're making on social media. You are likely not posting nearly as much as you think you need to in order to truly push the needle of your brand forward. If you're posting once a day, you're gonna grow at the rate of posting once a day. If you're posting 6 times a day, you're gonna grow 6 times as quickly as if you were just posting once a day. And so it's important to know this, because I think a lot of brands just don't understand why aren't they growing, and it's simply because they're not putting enough work in on a daily basis. I hope you took some notes, you're able to apply some of these to your own brand and immediately start getting better results. Let me know in the comments which of these was your favorite that you wanted to apply to your own brand. Definitely subscribe to the channel, check out my other videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.